Thank you, everyone, for coming. So my name is Sandro Pianconi. I am the co-founder and CEO of Fast Moving Consumer Goods. That is, you might heard other call it consumer packaged goods, but a fast moving consumer good is a product that you'll find on the shelf that you will buy. And within a week or two, you may need to replace it and buy another one. Unlike a computer or a refrigerator or a car or a mattress that could last 5 years, right? 3 years, 5 years. A fast-moving consumer good is something that you go and you pull off the shelf and do it. A little bit about our community. We've been building the community over 20 years. We have the largest LinkedIn group. We have over 41,000 members. So we have a lot of free content there. If you want to get to know us, please go in on LinkedIn. It's under Fast Moving Consumer Goods and apply, and we will let you in. Our goal this year is to be at 50,000 members, so 41,100. We're on our way, so you'll get a lot of free content in there. Masterminds, we hold monthly masterminds. For those of you who have ever been to a mastermind, it's here in San Diego, California, where different brand owners that have already launched, the mastermind is more for people that have already launched, that come to the meeting. We talk about what's working in the marketplace. We have guest speakers. Everything is working that way. So that's number one. That's number two. And then an incubator. If those of you know what an incubator is, we have approximately 12 clients, 12 to 15 clients. They're from startups to companies doing 100 million in revenue. And so we help them with formulations. We help them with a lot of things to a point where they scale and either go public or have an exit and sell the company. So what we're doing today, a lot of you on there are new entrepreneurs. Doesn't matter where you are in your entrepreneurial journey. It could be from a startup to you have a formulation, you have a product, you need to sell it, or we have people on here that are investors or people that are thinking about doing an exit. So we're going to talk about all those things. It takes about an hour. The best part is at the end when there's questions. Anytime during, if you have questions, if I went too fast or you want a clarification on the deck, please ask me and we'll do it. So we'll start. We're going to teach you today how to launch a consumer brand in 90 days. So it's a blueprint that me and my partner Jorge have put together over the last 30 years. One of the things we'd like to talk about is our sponsors. So our group, our 41,000 group, we have sponsors. CBG Experience is one of our sponsors. He's a platinum sponsor. What does CBG Experience do? So part of the incubator process when you're starting out, those of you who went to trade shows, raise your hand, right? We've probably done 100 trade shows over the last 30 years. I believe my first trade show was Pizza Expo. So those of you, grew up in the pizza business. It was at the Las Vegas Convention Center in 1987. So wow, that's a long time. That's probably 40 something years. Anyway, very expensive to do a trade show. So Shannon, who's our partner, put together this idea where he orders booths. He has a 50 by 50 space. He cuts them up into 4-foot tables. They all look the same. You have your banner, and he does outreach to buyers who are coming to the show. So we met Shannon at the Fancy Food Show in San Diego, California. He had 30 companies exhibiting there, and he does everything. He sets up, he gets your product, he puts it there, and you just show up ready to sell and take orders and meet buyers. So you have samples, and you do that. The cool thing about his program is, let's say there's 30 companies in the booth space. All those leads get shared electronically, and then you are able to talk to the buyers that came. So I think at the Fancy Food Show, he got almost 600 buyers. So it's a fraction of what it costs to do a real trade show. So shout out to Shannon. I don't know if you're listening, but thank you for being our sponsor. Here is what we call an anatomy of a product launch, right? So we're breaking the failure cycle. So it looks really complicated. Don't worry about it. We're going to make it simple. But we talk about all these things that need to occur to launch a product in 90 days. So we go into all the different layers that have to be involved in there. So, and by the way, we after the call, we could either share the deck with you, or we do have a YouTube channel that we put this on, so you can go back and look at it, or of course, ask any questions. So basically what we do is we have a blueprint on how to take an idea that you may have and take it to shelf in 90 days. So it's a structured blueprint. It's presented by myself, Sandro Pianconi, and Jorge Olson, which we'll talk about Jorge in a minute. So this is a Nielsen statistic, right? It almost comes to our experience also. 85% of all consumer packaged goods fail within the first year. So what does that mean? They come up with the idea, they either form the corporation or launch, and then within a year, that company's out of business. And so when I talk to clients that come into our incubator, one of the things I do, I believe it's in week 2 or week 3, I ask them to go to a 99-cent store. And they say, well, why? Why do you want me to go to a 99-cent store? And I said, well, because you're going to, Vons, you're going to Sprouts, you're going to Whole Foods, and you're seeing all the brands that made it. What I want you to do is go look at the brands that didn't make it. And they're littered throughout 99-cent stores, and all those. So usually what we have seen, it's not because they had a bad product or a lack of passion or it wasn't a good idea. It was just they did the steps incorrectly, right? They were doing a lot of guessing. They were getting up in the morning not knowing what to do. So today you're going to learn what successful founders do differently and why the structure is so important. So we break up the 90-day roadmap into there's phase 1 and there's phase 2, right? So weeks 1 to 6 and weeks 7 to 12. And we will go through all of those, from structured product design, reverse engineering of your avatar, your engineering architecture, D2C, and then to retail, scaling the supply chain, and positioning yourself for an early exit. So we're going to talk about all that today. So main point, number 1 is guessing. A lot of the founders we meet are guessing what they need to do. So they have an idea, they're not quite sure what to do. And sometimes we get them at the beginning, which is what we hope, and we can give them a structured path, or they've already gone a year or 2 years, spent $250,000 on a formulation, and don't have a product ready to launch. Or they're using their CPA or their lawyer to give them the roadmap, right? So that's what we've been seeing over the last 30 years. No roadmap. They spent too much capital before there was a validation, and then they get fearful, right? I've never done this before. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, and then they abandon the process. So that's the cycle that we see over the 90 days. So there's a couple of myths. Right? We meet people and we start talking about a go-to-market strategy. And they say, well, I have such a good product, it'll sell by itself. And that is not true. Great products fail all the time, right? They have the wrong positioning, the right sequencing, all those things happen. The other is that they believe that they have to have the perfect product before the business. And so actually it's in reverse. You need to have the business first, and then come up with the product and the brand positioning and the margins. And last but not least, we find them where they've gone already to a co-man, and the co-man tells them that they need to order a truckload to get the best pricing. And that usually has the problem. That's where we see the problem start. So we need to really talk about proof of concept before, to test the markets before you have a truckload of product that doesn't sell. Main point number 2 is how to move from idea to market in 12 weeks without the guesswork. So we'll talk about foundation and IP, customer avatar, supply chain mastery, brand and D2C, so which is direct to consumer, and raising capital. So we'll have clear weekly milestones and defined materials. A little bit about who we are. So I told you my name is Sandro Pianconi. I've been doing this 30 years. My partner, Jorge Olson, who was not able to be on the call, he was on last week. He had a prior engagement, so he was not going to be on. Jorge and myself, we distributed to over 17,000 stores, and we were the Miller Beer distributor in Mexico. about in 2007. So we know the beverage business. Jorge, well, we'll go right to that, has done several books on doing business. His Build Your Beverage Empire is in its third edition, so it's been for 20 years. Expert in the beverage space. He gets calls from different hedge funds, Coca-Cola, when they're looking at different acquisitions, and we'll hire him for his consulting. Our last book together, matter of fact, if you were to read it, you may not even need to be on the call. It's called Wholesale MBA. It came out last year. So the book it talks about everything we're going to talk about: how to launch a product, how to distribute, so on. I think we would need to add a chapter about D2C or TikTok, which we'll talk a little bit about. We've launched over 1,000 items. We've done over 1,000 items that we've launched both in the United States and Mexico. We talked about what 1,000 items. You're going to say, what kind of items have you worked on? So food, beverage, supplements, alcohol. We do both the formulation, manufacturing, supply chain. We help with online sales, wholesale distribution, retail sales, and if you want to export your product to Mexico. So that is a tequila that's there. Jaime is one of our clients in the incubator, was the CMO of Casa Herradura. Also, the iDrink is one of our doctors that we help formulate, that he sells this in doctor offices. Calmara is an energy drink, a healthy energy drink that it goes after the anime market in Canamar. And then here is a dentist, a super dentist here in San Diego that does a mouthwash and toothpaste. Some of the clients we've done business with and partnered with. So one is Rick Ross, the boss Rick Ross. This was in a formulation meeting that we were doing at his house in Atlanta, Georgia. Snoop Dogg with his Death Row Records, we launched a product with him. We are partners with Snoop Dogg on a vape line and a gummy line. And then Cheech and Chong, we did a lot of formulation work and products building for them. So those are some celebrity clients that are in our database that we worked with. So a little bit more about the blueprint from beverage idea to global branding. Again, different things that we'll go over, and we'll go over it one by one, but there's phase one and then phase two. So we talked about how to set up the corporation to how to get an exit. And so that's on here that we do. So a little bit about building the foundation. A lot of people, when we set it up first, I meet people, they say, well, my accountant told me I should do an LLC or I should do an S Corp. So we definitely structure it where it needs to be a C corporation, and it should be in a zero tax state like Nevada, like Wyoming, like Texas, Florida. That's where the corporation should be set up. And why a C Corp? If you're going to raise capital, which undoubtedly you will need to raise capital. LLC is a very clunky way to do it. LLCs are great for real estate, small friends and family, 3 or 4 investors. But a C Corp, you'll want to have a C Corp that you want to do it. Second, and the most important, is if you use Rule 1202, which is the QSBT, Qualified Small Business, and you were to hold the stock for 5 years and sell the company, you would pay 0 capital gains federally. And depending on what state you live in, you would pay 0 state tax. That only works on a C Corp. That does not work on an LLC. Don't worry if some of you on the call say, well, I already have an LLC. Easy fix, easily fixable. Those things will do it. And then some of our clients say, well, I have no issue. I don't want to raise any capital. I just want this to be a side gig. That's fine too. We just give you that information. Number 2, probably the most important before pillar number 1, but we put it as pillar number 2 because you need the corporation set up first, is that your trademark. You need to trademark your brand. You would not believe the amount of people that we meet. We're at a trade show or they come to us and they have a brand and we ask if they have a trademark and they say no. So 2 things. Your brand is your trademark. Second, no one will invest it with you if you don't have a trademark. Worse, it gets worse, is that you already have the product, you're out selling it, and 2 things happen. You get a cease and desist letter from someone who already owns the trademark, and you've already spent the money, you launched the product, you did you spent money in marketing, you're at a trade show, and you get a scary cease and desist letter from a lawyer, and that could cost you, 30, 40, $50,000 to fight it. So it's better. We help. We do a free trademark search for you and what class you're in. We do that, and then any possible patents that you may have. The other thing would be is no one owns a trademark. You go out and launch. You do such a great job that some entrepreneur will go ahead and register it and then send you a cease and desist letter. And then third, this is again at the foundation. We set it up so you can use, there's new laws that just passed that you could use up to $500,000 in research and development credits. So you're able to do branding, you're able to do formulations, you're able to do samples. There's a lot you can do under that research and development, and then you can use that as a tax credit either against future income, or you could use it against payroll tax. So that's the new thing they added, which is super, super cool. So number two, and it's probably the most important part. And if Jorge was here, he would go into it and geek it out and so on. So, but I'll do my best. Really what we ask is, someone comes to us and they say, I have this energy drink, okay? Or I have this product, I have this mushroom coffee. Okay. And they'll come to us at the beginning and we ask them, who is your customer? Who's the avatar? And they say, well, everyone. And we say, no, that's not right. Right. You need to dig deep. You need to find out who your perfect avatar is. Who's your customer? Who's that customer that is going to be your raving fan? Okay. They're the people that are going to talk about it. They're going to refer it to their friends. So when people say everyone, we know they haven't done their research, right? For example, there's different age groups on this phone, right? So there's different groups that drink coffee. There's different groups that drink energy drinks. There's people that work out. So those are all different. Collagen is very hot right now. So for women who like to put it in their coffee. So what you need to do is find out who your perfect avatar is. And depending on who that is, then we do everything in reverse to make a product that fits for them. Where does this person shop? Do they order online? Do they go to a bar? Do they go to Sprouts? So when we do all that right product market fit, then we could turn around and design the product. Formulation, pricing, all those things go into that. So that's what we call the customer avatar. As you can see, it's second, it's not first, right? And then will come the formulation, right? So supply chain. What is supply chain? A lot of people say, what does that word mean exactly? So supply chain is the starting point of a formulation. So a formulation will be what goes into this coffee. It's a mushroom coffee. But really, it's the packaging, it's the look and feel, it's the label, it's all the ingredients that go into it. So first, we have to come up with the formulation. A formulation on average takes between 60 and 90 days, which is about 80 to 100 hours of actual work. And you will come up with what's called a tabletop sample. Okay, so that's what we recommend is a tabletop sample. So you know what it tastes like, you know what's in it, you know what your COGS are, your cost of goods sold, and you have that. Step two is a lot of people want to go right to manufacturing, right, and order a truckload. That's where we slow them down and say, hey, let's do what we call a POC, proof of concept, where we actually will go in and make maybe 1,000, 2,000, very small quantity. It's expensive. But we consider that in the marketing budget in the research and development phase. So most times I would say it's probably 50-50, 60-40. Something comes out of the line and the flavor was a little off from what the tabletop was, or the coloring on the can was not right. So that's the time to fix it. So in that 1,000 or 2,000, then we go right to full truckloads. We also recommend a plan A and a plan B for co-manufacturers. And people say, why do I need a plan A and a plan B? I like, Jerry down the street. I've known him for 20 years. I want him to make it there. Only because in 30 years, we've seen everything. We've seen a flood in someone's factory. We've seen a fire happen. And when you have orders and you're going, you need to have two manufacturers that know your product. So plan A and plan B. So that's what we work with to get it. Also, we we help you with mastering NSF, GMP, COAs, very, very important. And last but not least, part of the supply chain is a 3PL. A lot of people don't know what a 3PL is. It's a third party warehouse. And why do we recommend that? A lot of people, have the thing, I started in the garage, and they say, hey, I have the product. I'll pick and pack and do it when I get home. I'll ship it. There's a whole host of reasons why to use the 3PL, but I'll give you the top three. One is, believe it or not, they could do it cheaper than you can because they've negotiated contracts with the post office, with FedEx, with UPS. They pick and pack and ship it, and they're getting a lower rate than you will going to either the post office or going to Postal Annex. Second, they're insured. Your garage may not be insured. They're insured. And second, when you go out to raise capital, very important when you go out to raise capital and there's an audit, they can go back and look at year 1, year 2, year 3, since it's a third party, and they can use those numbers for inventory. You don't have to do a rollback inventory. So you're probably going to save $25,000 to $50,000 a year. Second, they have all the new technology, all the bells and whistles. So they'll direct connect to Amazon or Shopify or TikTok, and you can use that. So that's what we call our supply chain mastery. Then we're going to go to modern brand building and D2C. So what is brand building? Brand building is, believe it or not, it's the story. It's your story. It's your lore. Why did you come up with a product? Why did you design this product? It was either there was someone in the marketplace that wasn't supplying your needs, or you saw a need in the marketplace and you were doing this. So it's the hero's journey. It's your story, where you expect and you talk about all of it, the look and feel, the packaging, all those things go into what modern brand building is, right? Then the most important part at the beginning, we do not recommend that our clients go into retail. A lot of our clients want to go to retail first, and we say, no, we want you to go to D2C. And there's a lot of reasons why, but let me tell you why that is. One is you get direct with your consumers. You get to talk to your consumers. Okay, like I'm talking to you now on TikTok Live. They can come on, they can ask questions, they can ask, why did you decide to do it this way? I can't get the scoop in. There's a lot of things you can do on TikTok or Amazon that you can't do in a store. You don't get to see the consumer at a Whole Foods or a Walmart there. Second, no matter how great you are, they will put you in a calendar and they'll say, hey, in 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months, we're going to launch the product. Well, a lot of you need cash quick, right? First to cash. So you don't need anyone's approval. You don't need a buyer's approval. You can just get on TikTok and start selling tomorrow. Or you can go to a farmer's market. So farmer's market's the same thing. You're getting that personal from your consumer. They're looking at the packaging, they're tasting it, they tell you what they like, what they don't like, so you can change it. But that's not scalable, right? You could do 1, you could do 2, you could do 7, maybe 7 a week you can do if they are all timed correctly in San Diego, you can do that. But it's a lot of work to set up and so on. We would much rather you tell your lore, tell your story on TikTok and spend some money on videos and get people doing it. And then here's the most important part, right? You get paid in advance. So if you're lucky and you wait 6 to 12 months and we get into Target, they will ask for 30-day terms, but they'll probably pay you in 60 or 90-day terms. So you will need to have the inventory paid for. You will need to give them the terms, and then you sell it to them. So that takes quite a bit of capital. Where in TikTok, you can turn it on, turn it off, how much you want to sell. So you get paid in advance, and then you ship out. Right. And here's the best part of all, what's changed in the last 5 years. The people that are looking at TikTok, they are not old people like me and my friend Jerry here or Jorge. They're young people that are looking at TikTok, they're buying. And then what they can do is they can go on now and buy the product for their stores, right? They can buy for 1 store, 2 store. And we'll talk about a program that we have for retail that does very well. So your branding is your story, your lore, but it also goes into the look and the feel, the packaging, all those kind of things. So a little bit about retail strategy, right? When you're ready, and maybe some of the people on the call are go, hey, Sandro, you're, I'm not in kindergarten. I'm not in first grade. I'm in 12th grade. I'm ready to go. I got inventory. I raised some capital. I want to sell to retail. There's a lot of ways that can be done, right? You could sell to 7-Eleven franchise stores. You don't have to go to 7-Eleven corporate. You can convince some 7-Eleven franchises in San Diego, Orange County. You can get 100, 200, 300 stores. The good thing about that is you're in the system, right? So there's a code now. They have your company code, and they have your UPC code. So now any manager can order it, right? So now you're going to be on the phone, you're going to be emailing, you're going to be calling other regions and get them to take the product. Also, we happen to live in San Diego. We have some beautiful stores called Sprouts. They're independently owned, so there's corporate owned and then independently owned. And you can go in there and talk to them, show them what you do, convince them how great the product is, tell them your story, your lore, and offer to do tastings, which they love. They love to for that. And once you're in that system, now there's a better chance of you getting into more stores. Also, Walmart has a code that we will teach you that you can do the code and go sell to Walmart's. The manager is allowed to purchase for his local store. So again, you have a vendor number, you have an SKU, you can go in there and do it. So normally at the point when you're going to get into retail is when you need to start raising capital. And so we help you set up from the beginning in the incubator, how to set up the C Corp, how to set up all the things that you're ready when you go to raise capital. So for those of you who have not raised capital before, we'll give you a little history, a little lesson here. So there's what's called the seed round. You've heard the seed round or the friends and family. Then you have the Series A. We use something called Reg CF, which allows you to raise up to $5 million a year. You're allowed to advertise, you're allowed to promote it. Then there's another one called Reg A. I believe you can raise up to 75 million. And then if it's all working and you have a great story and your sales and you have good margins, you can do what is called an IPO. So we help you all the way through to get from incubator, from startup to that. So main point, the cost of implementation, right? It's always about implementation. So what we see when we leave our founders, when they don't have a structure, they're hiring lawyers, they're hiring CPAs, co-mans, formulators, they're doing it out of order. We're on a call and the person negotiating with us is the lawyer, who's the last person that should be on the call, or the CPA or the co-man. So there's a way to do it. And again, we have a set place how to do it where we teach you one system and you're operating like a CEO and not a hobbyist, right? So that's what we do. So a little bit about exit strategy, right? We have been in the business 30 years. We've seen a lot of exits. The most famous one is Vitamin Water. Jorge had met the vice president of Coca-Cola. He was the one that wrote a check for $4 billion to buy Vitamin Water. And he told Jorge that he never wants to do that again, right? They never want to do that again. They're looking for companies that are scaling in the $5 to $10 million range, right? Because they figured out all the bumps. They have a brand, it's $5 million, and that will do it. These are some new exits which we're going to talk about. I have a great story after this one, but those of you probably have never before the last 3 years never heard of Poppy. So Poppy, they did what's called a sprint. So in 3 years, this is before they went into an incubator, not ours, but they went into a fund that invested with them. And so that's what it looked like on the left. So that almost looks like a medicine bottle, right? It was called Mother Beverage. That was the way the fund came in, invested with them, changed the look and feel, the model, came up with Poppy. That's how it was executed. They pivoted from supplements to modern. They did full program on TikTok. They rewarded their TikTok influencers, their affiliates, their DSD, all with stock and stock options. Then they just exited a few months ago to Pepsi for $1.95 billion. So that's correct, $1 billion in a 3-year sprint. So that's the possibility of if it's done correctly. Also, some other ones from incubation to IPO. Once Upon a Farm is a local cool story. It was started here in University City in a garage in San Diego. I was fortunate enough 2 weeks ago to meet the founder. of the company. His name is Ari. Ari and Cassandra started the company in the garage. They were at about 500,000 in sales, so not too much, 500,000. Got a call from the agent of Jennifer Garner. She really liked the product, the story. Came in, invested, and became the face of the product. And now, 10 years later, they just did an IPO in February for $724 million market cap, I believe. Well, there's been a lot going on the last 2 weeks, but $1 billion market cap, right? So 95% set up from the beginning to now. So they've done really well. And then another company that's in the fund is Sauz, S-A-U-Z. That's at 1,800 locations. So best thing on their cap table, they have 21 content creators. So in your cap table, you do want TikTok affiliates and TikTok creators. So eliminating the friction, right? A lot of people say, hey, I have a full-time job. I have this great idea. I want to launch, right? Should I quit my job? So no, we don't, unless you're wealthy or self-retired or semi-retired or retired, please don't quit your job. So this is built for first-time professionals who will invest 1 to 2 hours per week to go over the roadmap, right? So it's designed specifically for first-time founders. But if you're not a first-time founder and you have a product or something, we do have programs where we'll talk about a little bit at the end. We could set up a time to talk about it. And really what we do is we set up the sequence, right? So the sequence prevents the mistakes. So errors, lost capital, all that happens when you do something in the wrong steps. So what we do is we have a 12-week launch incubator. That's what we do. We have modules. So they're step-by-step visual modules from entity structure to scaling. Week by week, you get this. You get a workbook, which we call a launch planner, where it puts together your business plan. It makes you think about who your avatar is, the go-to-market strategy. We ask you to go out and look at brands that you like, what you like about them, what you don't like about them. Each week by week, then we ask you to come on a call. It's a 1-hour call with both myself and Jorge and special guests. So sometimes we have our trademark attorney on, we have our corporate attorney on, we have our TikTok president on, and he talks about the different things that are working, and you can ask questions. So it's for you to ask questions on that week. But the most part is you get to learn because there's other people that are asking different questions that maybe you didn't think of. And so let's say after the hour, an hour and a half, you go, oh, shoot, I forgot. I should have asked that. We have an unlimited help desk. So you can go in, ask the questions, and one of our professionals from either supply chain, marketing, retail will answer the question for you. And then probably the thing that we feel is the most valuable is introductions to our trusted formulators, co-mans, and retail buyers. So all that happens. So think about where you would be in 90 days. Let's fast forward to 90 days. So we're at April 8th, April 9th, July 9th. After the 4th of July, you would have your corporation structured. You'd have all your tax optimization ready. You'd have your trademarks filed, IP fully protected. If you have IP, you would have a manufacturer selected and aligned. You would understand what your margins are, what the price to the consumer is, the retailer, what the retailer pays, what a distributor pays, what you're selling it to the distributor for. Also, you would have in there, if you were to do a direct-to-consumer model, we would let you know what's working in the marketplace right now for affiliates, and you would have your product ready to go. So it's no longer a dream. You actually have a physical product ready to go. So your future is waiting. What I'd ask you to do, if any of these things have interest to you, what I'd love to do is to go on and scan in there. You could scan that. It will take you to a calendar. The enrollment's open to 10 serious founders. So if you want to go in, scan that, or in the chat, let's see, in the chat, we put it in there. Let's see, it's up there. It's up at the top, but I will do it again. You could book a time with us. There we go. I'll drop it in there. But at this point, what I'll do is open it up for questions. So if anyone has any questions, please, now the time would be, I'll unmute you. and we'll go from there. So I got the list of questions, or you can go in and ask questions. Let's see. I got Aisha, Brandon, Chef K. I know there's some people, Kim, Maria, Marina, Robert. Robert, how are you? Welcome, welcome. I haven't talked to you in a long time. Thank you for joining. Savonia, Sean. Who would like to raise your hand? There's a way to raise your hand, and then I'll unmute you. Chef K. Okay. Can you hear me, Chef K?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you. So I cut out for a few minutes and I jumped back in right at the beginning. So I don't know if you covered this. I apologize, but I wanted to know. So this is a 12-week program, right? To recap.
Yes.
Okay, and then what is like? What's the investment? I know there's an investment of 1 hour per week
Sure.
for training. Is there a financial investment or is there a selection process in order for us to be a part of
So
the
it's both.
programming?
It's both. So tell me a little bit about where you are in your entrepreneur journey. Do you have, is it an idea? Do you have a formulation? Because depending on where you're at is where you come into the program.
So the conceptually the company is built. My reasoning for coming on to the call today specifically was to see if I needed to go through the formulation process on my own or would there be a way to expedite it by being a part of this program. So I've started talking with some formulation companies. I have a couple ingredient companies that I've been working with, but everything you talked about today seems way more streamlined and could probably save me quite a bit of time.
Absolutely. And the good news is I'm going to assume by your title, you're a chef, right? So,
Yes.
one thing is cooking for a restaurant or yourself or catering, and one is a recipe for scaling. Two
Mhm.
different things, right? Completely two different things. So our background is food service, by the way. I grew up in the pizza and Italian restaurant business, but also in the food service business. We're the largest importer of cheese products into Mexico for 10 years. So yes, the answer would be is we could help with the formulation, but of course, depending on your knowledge and what you do, too much to ask now. If you set up a call, we could explain to you what that is for the formulation because we need to understand what's the final delivery vehicle, right? Is it in a can? Is it in a bottle? Is it in a squeeze tube? So we can ask all those things later, but definitely formulation is at the, again, it's not week one, it's week 3 or 4, right? So that's why we ask. So there's different packages that start, like at $1,000 a month to different ones. So when you get on the call, we'll just see where you are and do it. But yes, there is an investment. It's $1,000 is to start, and then we can go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Also, we do take credit cards, but we offer financing. So if you are in the position to do it, some of our companies offer like 0% for 6 months, which gives you time to do it. But that's all depending on you and your financial risk to do it. But most of our clients just pay with a credit card, and it works great. Let's see, I'm doing great. Yes, it's been a while since my meeting. Okay, perfect. We had another question about financing. You assist with finding, hold on, angel investors. So, Nicole, for startup at Group Zero. So, as you can imagine, it's very, very difficult, Nicole, to go out and raise capital. And people ask you what it is, and you say, "Well, I have an idea." What we've been able to do is if you have a MVP, a minimal viable product. So you have a product, it's like this. You've gotten it, you did the formulation, you have the product, you're showing it to people. They're saying, "Hey, I like it, but I don't like the color, or the can's too small, or it's too big," and then you can do it. To just raise money on an idea, the right word, you've probably heard it before, is called friends and family, right? People that know you, that believe in you, they say, "Hey, you're a hard worker." They're the ones that'll put in the seed capital to get it going. But we definitely have investment bankers that come in once you have a minimal viable product and you showed some sales and you have a chart going like this. So hopefully I answered that question. Let's see. I'm setting my call now. Thank you, Savonia. Some of you have already been to our masterminds. So a little bit, there's a bunch of people from all over, so I could see that. About CBG Experience. He's not here this weekend, but this weekend in San Diego is the World Coffee Show. So it's here at the Convention Center, at the San Diego Convention Center. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A lot of my team members are going to be there. I unfortunately am not going to be there. I'm going to be in Las Vegas, but for a soccer tournament. But we have a lot of my team here. So if you want to, we have free tickets. If you want to go to the World Coffee Expo and go see what's new and what's hot in the coffee space, you could do that, right? That is something you can do. Also, in 2 weeks, we're going to be in Los Angeles at the LA Convention Center for the NAMA show. NAMA is, now boy, I don't know what those are, but anyway, it's a vending show, and not so much vending machines that you think where you go in and you put your quarter in, you get a candy bar. These are, they're in Google, they're in SpaceX, they're in hotels where they set up and the products are and they take it and they scan it, or like the app, the Amazon store. So we'll be exhibiting. Some of our incubator clients will be there. The iDrink will be there. Calmara will be there. There'll be 2 or 3 people that are at that show. So I see people setting up calls. Yeah, so 10 calls if you can go in and set up calls. Any other questions? We got quite a few people on here, so people can, let's see, ask questions. Chef K, is that another question or are you already there? You answered already, right? Okay. Anyone else? Here we got Robert, Sean, Paul. Paul, how are you? We had a long talk yesterday, so that was good. Maria, Sylvania. Okay. Well, if you don't have any questions, I'm setting up my call now. Here's another one, and here's maybe a question. Once you have the product, do you also assist with marketing and website design? Absolutely. Nicole, yes, believe it or not, setting up the website is the easiest part. What's the harder part is telling the story, right? So people are not coming to websites like you might think. They're seeing it on Facebook. They're seeing TikTok. We do a lot with TikTok. We're learning what's working. Live selling is working. Affiliates are working. So that's the help that we would give you, right? Is for that. So yes, but a website, yes, we would help with that. But believe it or not, it's the easiest thing that you can get done as a website. But just imagine no one's going to buy off your website, right? You need to drive traffic to the website, which costs money, where we would rather you be doing videos, live selling, taking your product to a farmer's market, telling us the feedback on what's working and what's not. Matter of fact, I did leave one story out. Once upon a farm, he started out doing organic baby food, and he was taking and selling at farmers markets. So that's how it worked, right? What should we wait to have until we go through the program? Nothing. No business setup. We're going to help you with all that, right? We're going to ask you week 1. We want to ask about what is it you want to do? What's your dream? Why are you doing this? Is it a side hustle? Is it you want to help change the world? You want to leave a legacy to your kids? So we ask all those questions, and once we have those answers, we can help you do a business setup, right? We have a lot of international clients that are from Mexico or from Italy, so we help them set those things up in the proper way. So what we really want is you want to have the vision, you want the founder, you want the gumption to start your own brand and see it through, right? Now, 2 things will happen, right? At the end of 12 weeks, you're going to say, I have the business plan, I'm ready to go. Or you're going to say, man, that's a lot of work. I didn't know it was so hard, and you may decide not to. But that's probably 1% of the group, right? It's 1% of the group that does that. Brandon, do you have brand packaging designers that you work with? Yes. So that's probably that. I believe that was week 4. Week 5 is once we decide on your story, your hero story, your lore, who the product's for, we help with the packaging. So, for example, this packaging here, if you can see it. So from the POC, it already got changed to go to the truckload offering. So we did design. Let me show you. This is probably better. So this is the eye drink. He is a doctor, an ophthalmologist. He was working on it for 3 years before we met him. Used another formulator that gave him a formulation, but no COGS, no cost of goods sold, nothing. So we had to rework it from the beginning. Okay. So this product right here, he started selling out. Where do you think? In his 3 offices. So he got feedback from parents. But we did the design, we did the layout, but that's just, Brandon, one part, right? One is the design, we help with the logo, but then we do sales sheets. So those of you know what a sales sheet is. We do banners. We do at a trade show, you're going to need a lot of, with the case, how does the case ship? What the case looks like. So all that is part of what do. So we'll show you what needs to be done. But yes, if you need brand packaging, we have people that we work with. And then when the time comes to get it made, we can help get it made, or we put you in the right direction and you can get it made. So it just depends on where you are in your journey, and what a lot of co-mans will handle that for you. And when I say they handle it for you, they do it, but they charge you. So you can go to a co-man and say, hey, I just want tolling. I want you to make this for me, and I'll supply all the ingredients. You're going to save money, or you're busy and you say to co-man, you handle everything, you buy everything, you bring it in, but you spec it. So you spec the bottle, you spec the label, you spec the lid, all those things. All right. You can jump on and ask questions. You can do it in the text. You can ask me questions. If you want to wait to set up the time, that's fair too. You can do that. But yeah, so this went quicker than I thought, but I want to thank everyone for their time. I hope you got a lot of value, and that I didn't waste your time, that you learned a lot of value. Even if at some point we don't work together, you please go to LinkedIn, get all our information. It's free on LinkedIn. Also, our book, MBA Wholesale, Wholesale MBA, you can go on Amazon, Jorge or myself. It's both on both our author pages. We can do that. Thank you, everyone. So let me know, hit me up if you want to come to the World Coffee Expo. We'll get you a free ticket. And if nothing else, we will call it an evening. This one will be on our YouTube channel. It takes 2 or 3 days. They edit it, they cut some stuff out. But you'll be able to relook it. But if you go look at Fast Moving Consumer Goods YouTube page, we have other weeks on there, so you can look at it. Okay. Oh, you can meet Jorge Olson. So no more questions. I'm setting up the call. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Thank you, everyone.